Om Shanti. Today we'll be reading Murli, which was said on 24th of April 1973 by Avyat Bapdada. This Murli is a very short and sweet and beautiful Murli because Baba here is talking about how we ourselves, through the eye of knowledge, can see our own fortune for the next 21 births. Baba talks about the eye of knowledge, then he talks about the lines of thoughts and actions. And then he also goes on to speak about how much duration we spend according to this Srimad. It tells us how much duration we'll spend according in the 21 births. The longer we spend being accurate on each and every subject, we have 4 subjects, even more. So the longer we spend on being accurate on those subjects, Baba says the longer time you will spend in happiness in those 21 births. How long our intellect has been connected with Baba, Baba says that much time, again, you will be happy in those 21 births. So these are signals that Baba mentions that we can identify our future, our horoscope, if we can identify these things in ourselves. Baba also in this Murli speaks about what is complete destruction of attachment, right? There's a very subtle difference that Baba talks about between renunciation and forgetting attachment. And he goes deeper in that. So we'll listen directly from Baba. The date of the Murli again is 24th April 1973. The Alokik horoscope. At this time, are all of you stable in the form of Master Almighty authorities? Can you stabilize yourself in your perfect stage in 1 second? Baba starts with a checking. Can we stabilize in whatever situation in our perfect stage, that is the Nirakari stage, in 1 second? Have you practiced the spiritual drill? Baba's asking, have you practiced the spiritual drill? The spiritual drill is when we keep practicing going back into our perfect stage, into the Nirakari stage or the Farishta stage in 1 second through the traffic control or through at regular moments during the day. That is the spiritual drill that Baba says. Are you able to stabilize yourself in whatever stage you want? Have you developed the practice of being able to stabilize yourself for as long as you want, at the time you want? Are your man, buddhi, and sanskars, the mind, intellect, and sanskars, are they in control? That as long as you want and what time you want, you're able to stabilize yourself? That's what Baba is asking. Or do the situations created by matter still somewhat attractive to themselves? These could be relationships, these could be attachments to the material things, these could be attachments to my role that I'm playing. This could be anything. Do the remaining karmic accounts of the body, that is, do the situations in the form of the suffering of the karma that still remains pull you the most? Do we get bogged down by our karmic accounts, by the suffering that we get in different forms due to our own past karmas? If that pulls us, are we not able to stabilize ourselves? Is that the case? Baba is asking. When even this attraction is finished, it is called being a complete destroyer of attachment. That's the most difficult attachment from the suffering of your own karma on the body, on the mind. And Baba says, when this attraction is finished, that's when you become the complete destroyer of attachment. Anything for which you have love or attachment will pull you to itself again and again. Isn't that true? If we have even subtle pull towards anything, a love for something, even though we've renounced relationships, we've forgotten through the mind, but still, if we have love for any small thing, that'll pull us. No circumstances of the body or the bodily world can make your stage fluctuate. This stage has been remembered. No fluctuation, no ups and downs, no today here or tomorrow there. And this stage has been remembered in the form of Angad. The memorial of Angad in the previous cycle is the memorial of the complete stage. Now, if we remember, there were different ways and means that they tried, Maya tried, or Ravan's army tried to fluctuate him. But the remembrances that he, till the time he wanted to move his fate, nobody could do that. That was the control that he had. And that's a memorial of us when we become complete destroyers of attachment. Zero fluctuation. We are able to put our feet of the intellect wherever we want, whenever we want. Has your stage become such that the foot of your intellect cannot be shaken by any circumstance created by matter? This is your aim, is it not? It's a beautiful stage. Even now, there's still a difference between your aim and your qualifications. Where we are, what have we achieved, and where we need to be. There's still some difference, Baba says. There is a difference between the memorial of the previous cycle, that is Angad's memorial, and the practical life of the present time. There is a difference, Baba says. So maybe right now we still get pulled into different directions. We are trying to connect with Baba, stabilize our stage. But at that time, either we are being pulled by what we were doing before sitting in that yoga, or whatever we were doing. Our relationships are calling us, something good, something bad. But we get pulled again and again, and then we have to keep doing the effort to connect with Baba in that stage. So there is a difference. In order to make intense efforts to remove this difference, what yukti is required? Since you know the yuktis, why is there a difference? Now, what yukti can we use to remove this difference between where we are today, our qualifications, and our memorial of zero fluctuations? Baba goes on to say, do you not have eyes How sweetly Baba is saying, can't you see? Or is it that you have eyes, but that you do not have the speciality of being able to use those eyes at the right time? Which eye is Baba talking about here? When Baba comes, he gives us the third eye of the intellect, through which we can see what we should do, what we should try to remove the difference from our previous cycle stage and where we are today. What effort can we do? Why we are not able to quickly reach that stage? What's lacking? How do I cover up that gap? These kind of things we can see only from the eye of the intellect or the eye of knowledge. Baba goes on. Is there as much greatness visible as there are specialities? So there are some specialities in our memorial. Are we able to showcase that level of greatness today? We have to ask ourselves, do you know the reason for lack of greatness? Although you still constantly speak of this main belief, the main belief, the belief on ourselves, the belief on the Father. Although you still constantly speak of this main belief, you do not have the depth and subtlety. This is just a very deep sentence we should underline. Although you constantly speak of this main belief, we keep saying, Baba, I have all relationships with you. I have full faith. Whatever happens, we will always be together. We have these main beliefs, but the depth and the subtlety is lacking. When there is that depth and subtlety, there can be that stage of being brave. Pick up a small thing and just check how much depth and subtlety do I have, which means the amount of knowledge that I have grasped about around that belief, be it any belief, be it belief in drama, right? I can say I understand the drama, but can I utilize that knowledge with great depth and subtlety at all times? Is that in my subconscious mind, or is it just on my superficial mind? That's the depth and subtlety that Baba is talking about. And once that goes into the subconscious and stays there, that belief, and we gain that depth and subtlety, Baba says you'll automatically become brave. Then nothing, because what will happen? Nothing of this material world can affect us. So you become in turn brave, because being brave means you don't get scared of anything. Right? That is what being brave means. You stick on your path, you don't get deterred, you don't get scared. And how that comes? That comes with depth and subtlety of the belief and the knowledge. Okay, so Baba says to be brave means to be great. So again, what aspect is lacking? That of depth and subtlety. Anything that is fine can be merged into anything. Here, fine means refined. Anything that is very, very fine, like gold, can be merged into anything. You mix it with anything, it can be easily merged. You cannot make anything that doesn't have this refinement become merged as you wish. If something is not that refined, it takes a lot of time to get merged the way we want it to be, The flexibility is lacking. The more profound and refined something is, the more accepted it is. It is easily accepted anywhere. It gets adjusted. So Baba here is also talking about the refinement of our intellect, continuously working on refining it through the knowledge, through the churning of the knowledge again and again and again and again, bringing those beliefs in our depth and subtlety, in the nook and corners of our intellect, in the nook and corners of the subconscious mind. That's what Baba is talking about. And refining it, making it more and more profound. Baba says it is powerful to that extent. This is a very powerful thing. So ask yourself, what is the first belief, or what is the most elevated belief out of all beliefs? Srimad is your belief. Baba has given this Srimad, and that is what my belief is. So what is the first belief? To forget everything, including the body. That is the first belief. Renounce it or forget it. To forget it is also to renounce it. Baba is trying to ask us, is renouncement equal to forgetting that thing, everything, including the body? Even whilst it is with you, if you have forgotten it, it is as though you have renounced it. If you're not using something which is with you, you just forget about it, it means you don't have it, right? That's what Baba is saying. To forget it means to renounce it. I don't need it. For instance, you challenge the sannyasis saying that they have not renounced anything. They say that they have left their home and family, but in fact, they have not renounced them because they haven't forgotten them. Still, that pull will be there. In the same way, if according to the circumstances, you have externally renounced something, that is, you have moved away from it, but your mind hasn't forgotten it, would you say that you have renounced it? Baba says this knowledge is the knowledge of the intellect, the knowledge of the mind, not something as a Hatha yoga, right? He keeps saying that in Sakar Murlis again and again. So when we move away or when we are not looking, sometimes kids do this. When they're trying to hide away from anything, they'll just close their eyes and they'll imagine that the thing is not there. But the thing is there, right? The same way, we also try to just move away from that thing that is pulling us, not good for us, or not according to this Srimad. But our mind is still attached to it. So no matter how far we run from it, that thing will still pull us like a magnet. And when we need the most, that's when it'll fail us. Because we've not renounced it, we've not forgotten it from the mind. So Baba goes on. Here, what does it mean to renounce? For the mind to forget. Your mind has forgotten everything, has it not? So have you renounced it? Or do you still need to renounce it? If you still need to renounce it, If even now you say that you still need to have renunciation, then instead of being in the list of those who have had renunciation over a long period of time, you come into the list of those who are to have renunciation now. Time is also a factor in all this. We can't keep waiting for our stage to come. Baba has said this in many more ways. The longer duration we have renunciation for, the greater will be our efforts and we will be able to move faster. So the duration, the time also is a huge factor here. Okay, the time, date, and moment are recorded with Bab-Dada and recorded in the drama of all those who have had renunciation with their mind. Right? When did we start with this renunciation from the mind? That is, those who renounced the bondages of the body and the bodily relations in a second. Now, there are some who renounce it in a second and then never think about it. It's just out. And there are some who take time to renounce. And that too, physically, they renounce, but they're not able to do that from the mind. The subtlety and the depth is lacking. That's the moment that Bab-Dada is talking about here, the time, date, and moment. When you renounce everything. Nowadays, astrologers, those who have the knowledge of astrology, create your future horoscope according to the date and time of your birth, on the basis of the knowledge they have and according to their capacity. The date and time and the stage are also their basis. What was the stage of the nakshatras, they say, right? The constellations, the stars, the time of your birth, the date, all these are factors that they use to create the horoscope. They look at the circumstances in which you were born. Here, you look at the stage at that time when we were born. What stage did you have when you took birth? The future reward of each one is based on that stage. So at that time, when I was taking birth, what was my stage like? Did I have complete faith? Was my mind wavering? Was I feeling that deep love and connection with Baba immediately in 1 second? Or I took time? The future reward of each one is based on this stage. So, whilst knowing all these three, the date, the time, and the stage, you can also know for yourself your reward of the confluence age and the future stage of the confluence age and the reward of your future births. Everything is based on that. Each aspect is connected with the attainment of your practical life. Attainment and your practical life. This is the eye to know your fortune. Through this, each of you can know your number in the final stage. Where am I right now? We can get to know. What was my stage during my birth in this Alokik life? Fortune tellers can tell the horoscope of others just by studying the lines on their hand. In the same way, because of being master, Trikaldarshi, Trinetri, and an embodiment of knowledge, that is master knowledgeful in your life of having died alive with the lines of the practical actions you have performed and the subtle lines of your thoughts. If you were If you were to put your thoughts into an image, what would that image be? So Baba has spoken about many things in this sentence. I'll break it down. So one is, Baba talks about being Master Trikaldarshi, right? We can see our past, our present, and our future. And through being accurately being able to see our past, present, and future, we are able to create our own horoscope. And also being knowledgeful. So one is being able to look at the past, present, and future. And the other is through the eye of knowledge, through the depth and subtlety of the knowledge in our intellect, we will be very accurately be able to see what our past might have been and what our future can be. It's not just about the 5 forms, no. It's also about getting deep into my own stage and what my stage today tells me about my future tomorrow. In this particular life, the life of being dead alive, with the lines of practical actions. So the lines, they look at the lines of the hands. Baba says you can look at the lines of your practical actions. How are you making the effort in this life? What are the actions that you're performing through the day? Are they limited actions or are they unlimited actions? How much time are they limited? How much time are they unlimited? These are things that we can use as guidelines that's been given by Baba. So practical actions you have performed and the subtle lines of your thoughts. So lines of the practical actions and lines of our thoughts. If you were to put your thoughts into an image, what would that be? No? On the basis of these lines of your thoughts and on the basis of the lines of your actions, you can know your horoscope. So first, Baba spoke about the birth, date, time, and stage. Now he's talking about the lines of thoughts and the lines of our actions. Can you know your horoscope? That is, are the lines of your thoughts straight? That is, are they clear? Are we having clear thoughts, straight thoughts? Or sometimes here, sometimes there, I don't know what will happen. Baba says this, but I don't know. Let's see. Firstly, check that you have spent a long period of time according to Srimad. So now Baba is giving us some very specific checkings. The first one, that we should check how long I have spent according to Srimad in terms of your stage and in terms of your relationship with others. Baba has given the Srimad on the stage and how our relationships should be with others. This is what it means to see the time. The time, that is the moment, also has a great impact on your horoscope. From which moment have I accepted the Srimad wholeheartedly and accurately? So here too, this has a connection with a long period of time. A long period of time does not mean a long time in terms of physical dates or many years. But from the moment you took birth, threshold be this deep love over a long period of time. The account of the extent to which each one is accurate in every subject will be accumulated. For instance, someone may have been on the path of knowledge for 35 years, but has spent a lot of time in terms of success in his efforts, but has not spent. So suppose somebody is 35 years into Gyan, into knowledge, but they have not spent a lot of time in terms of success in their efforts. So a lot of time has been spent in effort making and very less time in reaping the success or the benefit. That would not then be counted as a long period of time. However, if instead of 35 years, someone has been on this path for 15 years and has had success in his efforts, for those 15 years, that would then be counted as a long period of time. Baba says, lesser duration but accurate efforts while having success in your efforts, not just trying and not being able to succeed. That's what matters and that's what counts when you're talking about duration. How many times we say, I've been in Gyan for 20 years, I've 25 years. We should tell the number of years we've been accurately in Gyan. That's also a very subtle checking to be done. Those who remain absorbed in deep love over a long period of time receive a reward for a long period of time. The more you're absorbed in Baba's deep love, not just the basics, deep love over a long period of time, the more we receive success and reward for the long period of time. Those who have temporary success only receive a temporary reward. In one of the 21 births, we might become something. That is, out of the 21 births, they receive a reward for only a few births. The rest would be an ordinary reward. This is why astrologers give a lot of importance to time. You should be free from obstacles over a long period of time. That is, the line of your actions should be clear. So earlier Baba spoke about the line of the thoughts. Now he's speaking about line of the actions. That you should be free from obstacles. So success in our thoughts and success in our actions. It should be clear. Your horoscope is based on this. In the lines of your hand, if a line is broken every so often, your fortune is not said to be so elevated. Sometimes they say, right, in your hand, your line is broken. There's a gap. You might have some obstacle in your lifeline, they say, right? So Baba says your fortune is not said to be elevated if that happens, or you're not said to have a long lifespan. In the same way, if the line of the intellect connected with the Father is constantly being broken or is not clear because of the obstacles every so often, then you cannot claim a big reward. So here Baba speaks about the line of the intellect continuously connected with the Father, with no breakages, no obstacles. That's another sign of our fortune, or a sign of that we are capable of getting a very big reward. The more and more and more it will be broken, the more our reward will keep getting smaller and smaller. Now you're able to know yourself as to what your horoscope is, what status is fixed as an attainment for you. After all these checkings, Baba says, now you know what your horoscope in this Alokik life is. What is going to be the status in those 21 births? People even see omens in the horoscope. Sometimes they'll say there's this problem in your horoscope, you have this problem, you will face obstacles because of this. When there are the omens of Jupiter, do they remain for a long period of time? The omens of Jupiter are supposed to be good for the fortune. Do they remain for a long period of time? Or do the omens keep changing again and again? Maybe there are sometimes the omens of Jupiter and sometimes the omens of Saturn. We We also feel these omens in our Alokik life sometimes. Sometimes we feel there's the omen of Jupiter and sometimes it's Saturn. If they repeatedly change, that is, if you're not free from obstacles, then you cannot claim the reward of a kingdom that is free from obstacles for a long period of time. So check these omens to see what omens you have had from the beginning till now. How many times we have seen the omen of Saturn when we drifted away from the knowledge, drifted away from Baba, got entangled into the here and now, got pulled into material things, moved away from unlimited. These are omens, these are signs that Baba is talking about. People look at the zodiac sign of their horoscope. What are the zodiac signs here? So Baba is not leaving anything. He spoke of the lines of thoughts and actions. He spoke of the time, duration, and the stage at the time of the birth. He spoke about the omens. He spoke about the intellect connected with the Father at all times, the lines of our hands. And now he's talking of the zodiac. So what are the zodiacs? What are the zodiac signs here? Here you have 3 zodiac signs. One is that of Maharathi. The second is that of cavalry. And the third is that of infantry. Based on where you stand, the way you're making the efforts, you can see which zodiac you belong to. From these 3, look at your own horoscope and see if you have had the sign of being a Maharathi, a cavalry, or an infantry maker, infantry effort maker from the beginning. That is, from the moment you took birth. It doesn't mean today I've become a Maharathi. Earlier I was a infantry effort maker, so I'll say I've always been a Maharathi. No. Baba says it has to be a long term. And from the moment you took birth, that tells us our fortune. So you know your horoscope on the basis of your zodiac sign. Become a master Trikaldarshi and an embodiment of knowledge, and check your own horoscope and look at the future. So Master Trikaldarshi again, through the eye of knowledge. That's when we'll be accurately able to see our horoscope and look at our future. You can change your signs, the omens and the lines. So in the limited world also, they do some puja and all those things to change the omens when they get to know the omens, right? The first thing is to get to know that this is a problem in my future, and then trying to recover or work with it. So Baba says here also, once you look at your future through the eye of the knowledge while becoming a master Trikaldarshi, you can then change your signs, your omens, and your lines. After recognizing them, after checking them, are you then going to adopt the means to change? People show many means in worldly knowledge too. Here, you know the means, do you not? So with these means, attain complete success. Now we have to churn. What are those means that will work for me? And based on those, we can achieve complete success. Do you understand? To such souls who attain success with an intellect that is an embodiment of knowledge, to those who reveal this perfect form through their life in a visible way, to the Mahavirs who constantly overcome external situations with their original stage, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Beautiful, Murli. So we'll take a minute to pause and rewind the Murli in our minds and then come back for churning. Okay. Anybody wants to share their thoughts or journeys on today's Murli?
Om Shanti, a wonderful Murli. Baba has given us, teachings on the Alokik horoscope. Like Alokik horoscope, when the birth takes place, then the time, the particular time, and the stage. I mean the Rashi, that place of birth, and the position of the planets, and omens and zodiac signs. All this Baba has beautifully translated into the Alokik birth also. When when we get the parichay of Baba, then that what is that time and how long we have been at that stage of milan with Baba, or in remembrance of Baba. That duration counts here. And and also the relationship, the stage, and the relationship with others, both counts here. And also the omens of whether it's Brahaspati, Jupiter, or Shani, uh, Saturn, or Rahu, or whatever. The I can change that omens also. It's depends on my stage. Whether I'm in remembrance of Baba, I have got the Brahaspati Dasha, which is always leads to success. And so Baba has given focus on my thoughts, my stage, my thoughts, and my actions, which translate into my actions. And I am the creator of my own destiny, my own horoscope. I choose to create my horoscope. So that's the beauty of today's Murli. This is the takeaway for me. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Really, it is such an addictive subject, astrology. And before even we come, each one of us, I remember the days I just used to flip the pages of the paper to just read what Bejan Daruwala's got to tell me that. And what belief we used to have and all that. He'll say, do this number, do this stone and all. Absolutely, we used to, as if he is the one who is reading my thought and he is deciding what is going to be my future. I used to just think what kind of science it is. I remember because I was surrounded by such kind of astrology and all that and all. Only one thing which I used to remember is it is any sign or something, it is just a kind of a band of sky. In that sky, how does the sun, how does the planet, how does the moon move? So that decides at the time of birth for the astrologer to predict. But here Baba is saying, at the time of your birth, my spiritual birth, he rewrites my horoscope. He gives me a pen to rewrite my destiny. It is such a shift of science. This astrologer, famous astrologer Shiv Baba, is giving me the pen to change. He say, and he on 3 lines, like you see, on 3 things he has based science, omens, and lines. So I like these 3 ways, the way Baba is really explaining, because if you see even action, Whatever action we do, that decides what I'm going to do in the future. So actions, what is the influence, which people call it as omens. But Baba has always said, you always have only Jupiter omen over you. I have never seen Baba mentioning any time that omens of Saturn are over you. But over here in astrology, they say you have Saturn, you have this. So really, this has given me a thing to know. When I was born, spiritual birth, what a lovely kind of intoxication I had, whom I met. Do I carry that same intoxication now? Is my line of intoxication broken? What is my action? So this is what I would really like to go deep down to see, how do I create my destiny, because I found a new astrologer in this new birth. So it's really something to compare the signs. So my takeaway point is my action, line of action, my line of thought, what I think, I can change the lines on my hand. I can change my zodiac signs. I can be showered by Jupiter.
Yes, very beautifully mentioned, sister. It's very liberating to see and know that we can change our fortune. And again, Baba keeps telling that I give you history and geography, but he also gives us science, the knowledge of science. Yes, please. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Can I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
Baba told one very nice thing. Is there as much greatness visible as there are specialties? So, example is that you go to the interview after passing BTech engineering with distinction. Then they take a subject and they ask you a question. So you tell the answer. Answer is correct. But when they probe it, when they go into the concept, then the candidate cannot answer. Then he will not be selected. So that subtlety, that depth is important. So when the person is having depth, then only one can understand, yes, he has understood correctly. He can put it into practice, so it will be useful for us, so then will be selected for the job. So this is something Baba has brought very nicely here. You have specialties, but have you greatness? And your greatness will come only you have the depth and subtlety in the beliefs, what you have learned here. Very nice point. So one shall try to concentrate on not having the qualities, divine qualities, but in the divine qualities, are you having the depth? When you check in the into the subtle region, will you come out with flying colors? What Baba is making. Nice point. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Yes, thank you, Brother. So I think depth and subtlety that Baba spoke about is very important. We need to realize what is the depth and subtlety of my understanding of the knowledge, of my beliefs, of my love for Baba. Is it deep and is it subtle? Or am I just doing it because, for some or the other reason, but is it out of true love or depth of knowledge? What is my pull to Baba?
Sister, can you highlight on this? This was my question when that brother shared. Depth and subtlety makes you refined. The surface meaning I know about it, to be absorbed in love, to know. So Baba says depth as well as subtlety. It makes me refined, it makes me profound, I can get merged. Could you just add a little more on this? Because that only makes me to believe in this science.
Yes, sure. I can add my perspective. If anybody else wants to add to it, can obviously share, because it's a very vast topic. But depth and subtlety, when Baba talks about, see, when we take this knowledge, right, initially, it comes into a superficial state, right? And the more and more we take it deeper, it's like in the ocean. One is in the surface of the ocean, there's something there. I have the knowledge that, okay, I've had 5 different forms. I have 5 different forms. I've come from 63 births. There is a karmic account. I need to clear it, all that, right? Just knowing it, that is one. Getting deeper, churning that knowledge, implementing it in my life, trying to use my own experiences with Baba to become refining my own understanding of that knowledge, understanding of that belief, understanding of the various points that Baba has given. It's such a vast knowledge. So churning it and refining that knowledge and, making it my own, personalizing it from my viewpoint is the depth of that knowledge. And the more and more I keep taking it into my inner depths, into my subconscious, the more and more my intellect will start becoming refined and subtle. Right? That is my understanding of depth and subtlety when Baba talks about it. Going deeper into each of the points that Baba has given, and through those depths, erase the lack of knowledge, even from my nook and corners in my intellect, and becoming more and more refined. It's like, the knife, which has become blunt. You're making it again, you're sharpening it again and again and again and again by doing the same action. If anybody else has any points on it, welcome to share.
Om Shanti, sister. Not on this context, but on another thing that which Baba shared. Baba said that intellect should not be shaken by any sort of a circumstances created by the matter. So the more profound and the refined something, right? So that is accepted by all, and also it is powerful. And very lovely thing Baba mentioned about that renouncing thing and forgetting. Renounce is also forget. So sannyasis, they do renounce, but they still remember it, right? So we need to do that very subtle and depth checking just to see is there any trace that is still going through the intellect or the mind. And very clearly Baba mentioned about the future reward of each of us is based on this stage, right? And the success also, Baba says this, in this effort only it's counted. Success in this effort only it's counted. So it's not about how many years, it's about the success.
Yeah. It's not about the length of time, but it is about the quality of the time that we've spent in this knowledge. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Strange sisters, I know there's no time, just 1 minute I'll take. I had this because just yesterday when I was talking, I found that person had that kind of depth of knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. So when I was just trying to talk to her, she said, do you mean to say Krishna is not God? Do you mean to say whatever we have learned till now down the ages is wrong? No, I don't want to go away from my Krishna. So when Baba spoke about death, I said, yeah, so they are also so deep and this. So I asked Baba, I call them refined? So that's why, sister, I had this question. I don't know why Baba, whenever I have such kind of problem, something he takes me to a Murli like that. That was my only thing about depth and subtlety and refinement.
See, it depends on the kind of knowledge that we are going deep into, right? Is it based on truth or is it based on something? Because the more it is based on truth, it becomes refined. If it is based on some kind of untruth or mixture, then it will not become refined, and we might get more and more drawn towards a superstitious kind of refinement or superficial refinement. But having said that, I think a good discussion. Thank you for all the churnings that came in. And as a homework, I think we should check our own horoscope, sit in silence and check our own horoscope that Baba is making for us. And me and Baba, we are both sitting and writing that horoscope for ourselves. Okay. So before we go into meditation,
Om Shanti sister.
yes,
I was
please,
asked to
Om
share.
Shanti.
I got a message. I was asked to share. Can I share now?
Yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
the subtlety, what I just wanted for example is that say purity. Purity, one can tell grossly, one may think that it is self-based. But Baba says no. It is to have unwavering attention towards, not towards any Vyakti, Vastu, Vaibhav, he says. Person,
Yeah,
many material, or Vaibhav. And similarly, he says, don't look below the mastak. There is a snake there. So see
yeah,
only the mastak money. Don't look below. So that means see everyone as an Atma only. The next he says in Sankalps, don't have waste Sankalps. Not only that, he says don't have even ordinary Sankalps. Have Shrestha Sankalps, elevated thoughts,
correct.
elevated thinking only. So the depth of purity here is that purity one shall cannot be happy that he is celibate. He shall have unwavering attention towards Baba, and his eyes cannot drop on something below the mastak. He shall see only Atma, and in Sankalps, he cannot afford to have any Sankalp other than elevated thoughts. In fact, Brahma Baba told the sister, "We have got a good sleep." She said, "Yes. How can you get good sleep when there are so many souls crying for your attention, crying for your help? Look at Vishwakalyan. You are here
Yeah,
Nimit for making Vishwakalyan. That is your job. Don't be satisfied with what you are having." So the purity
correct.
levels, what Baba says is higher. So one shall examine himself with taking the yardstick of Murlis, Abhyakta Murlis and Sakar Murlis and teachings of these. One shall see in one particular quality what I find divine quality. Is it really complete? The subtlety, one shall go into the depth and then one shall never be satisfied because this goes on until we chant this chant, until not this blinding goes on. So the improvement in each quality, that subtlety improvement shall be there. Om Shanti.
Yeah, exactly, brother. I think you're absolutely right. Purity is one topic, which again, we can go very deep into. There are many different topics in this Gyan, and we'll see that the way this Gyan has progressed from the time that Baba started in 1930s to where we are today, the Gyan has also gone into a depth and a certain level of subtlety, right? Slowly and steadily, if we see the way the Murlis have also progressed in Avyak Murlis, they start from the raw knowledge and go on till being subtle, where Baba doesn't need to speak much, but just one sentence talks about a lot. So that's how our intellect also needs to become. But yes, thank you for sharing, brother. So before we go into a 1-minute meditation, I think there are some announcements that Raki sister would make.
Om Shanti. Tomorrow we have a master class by Balakishore Bhaiji, where he's going to be taking us through significance of churning Avyak Murlis. And the reference Murli for this session is going to be the Murli dated 4th of July, 1971. So request each one of us to revise this Murli, possible in both the languages, Hindi and English both. And request you to invite all Brahmin brothers sisters to be a part of the session. This flyer will be shared on the group as well. And we shall meet tomorrow morning with vision on this Murli. Brother, can you just unmute yourself?
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, invite you for this session. Over to you, Shwani Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Raki. Okay, so in the interest of time, we'll go and center ourselves for 1 minute. Just visualize ourselves sitting in our Farishta stage, in the subtle world, with Bap Dada. Both me and Bap Dada have a beautiful pen in our hand and are focused on writing something. When I look deeper, I see that I'm writing my own fortune. And whenever I'm getting stuck, Baba is holding my hand and writing it for me. I feel all powerful, that till now I used to depend on others to tell me my fortune. And today, Baba has given that pen in my hand to write my own fortune. This is a beautiful experience and a liberating experience. I don't have time to waste. As I need to go deeper and refine my intellect through this amazing knowledge that my Father has given me. From the stage of being Master Trikaldarshi, I can now see my own past, and through my present, also my future. Nothing is in this material world is greater than this. In this moment, this is who I truly am, and rest is all artificial. With this thought, I start my day and keep a check on my actions, my thoughts during the day. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Shivani Ben. Thank you, Divine Family. And let's keep checking our own horoscopes with different points that Baba has given in today's Murli. We meet tomorrow morning, all set to attend the session with the churning on the Murli dated 4th July 1971. See you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.